Hey, what's up? What's up? Hey guys, welcome to the GunterMan show. We only know what we know, where you, the viewer, get to pop in on screen with me and my special guest to share your thoughts, to share your ideas about life, love, relationships, how to reconnect, stuff on marriage, as well as how to move forward after a hard time. This is your opportunity to be a part of a show. If you're daring enough to pop on screen with me and share your thoughts or even ask a question, it's all about you. I'm not going to call people out. I want you to be able to show up and be yourself. And that's the key thing. Here's an opportunity to no longer live a certain habit pattern that that's not bringing you great rewards. This is your opportunity to maybe ask about something, maybe that's kind of leaving you up in the air on what's right for you and what's right for your partner and what's right for the person that you love or what's right for your kids. This is all about relationships. Life is all about relationships. How you see yourself, how you see the world around you, how you deal with certain situations. It's all based on your experiences and all the relationships that you've had. So here's your chance for 1 hour, just 1 hour. You can join me online and pop in and ask me questions. I want to say hi to all my friends out there. My cousin stylist, Donna, will be live with you. Extra is my ordinary. Yeah, that's right. Extra is my ordinary. That is right. I see Kenya there. I see Lolita there. What's going on, guys? Come on in. Come on in. Well, as I just mentioned quickly, my special guest is Donna Hendricks, CEO and founder. She's an influencer. Oh my, she is filled with power. She is filled with not only just great adventures, because if you see her pictures, she loves to travel, but she's filled with being able to get people to live that extra that lies within them, to live that extra and to live it like unapologetically. So often we want to live this story, this amazing story that we have in our head about ourselves, but we're hesitant. We don't dare to step out and actually live it. Well, this woman right here, Donna Hendricks, is someone who lives it, who dares to live it unapologetically, who has empowered other people to do the same. So tonight is going to be a really good one. You're going to be able to hear her perspectives on, like I said, life, love, relationships, and anything else that comes to mind for her. This is her opportunity to talk to us. She's a part of our world. That's right. And I've done a show for her. I don't know if she still does it. You'll have to clear it up for me, Donna, when you hop in. But she does like a Friday afternoon cafe where I was a guest on her show. So maybe you could punch that in for us, Donna. Let us know do you still do your live show in the afternoons, Friday afternoons? Let us know about that. But you're going to hear from her in a few minutes. Of course, this week is election week. Everyone went out there and they voted. From what I'm hearing that, there was record-breaking votes being made. It's still undecided, but we know as people who are doers, you figure that if you're showing up to this show, you're someone that is truly interested in not only hearing some new perspectives, but daring to act out on it, daring to live them, which allows you a greater sense of power over your day, over situations, over your emotions, because when you dare to hear other people's perspectives, that means you're open. You're open not to just simply judge a person by their actions or their particular words, but to remember that the other person is not you. And they're dealing with something. Even though they're with you, they're dealing with something also. And since they're dealing with something, they're gonna need kindness sometimes to allow them to speak freely. Because if you just come back with anger or bitterness or concepts built off of your past relationships, you're not gonna build an environment for people to freely share. You're not going to build an environment for people to freely share with you. And this is the same concept you could do for a lover. Same concept you could do for your kids, especially your kids. You want your kids to be at the place where They can tell you pretty much everything, because no one's going to love you more than, no one's going to love them more than you and expect nothing in return. You know, there's no manipulation to get something from them. It's simply a parent's love, a parent's perspective filled with the desire for them to succeed. So when you show up to these type of talks, when you show up to this GunterMan show, you are saying to the world around you, but more importantly, you're saying to yourself that you're going to dare to live a life that you're going to hear about being extraordinary. You're going to dare to live a life that is more freeing than you can ever imagine. Because we only know what we know. And what we know isn't everything there is to know. And there's more information out there is to gain, even though you have done things particularly or relatively successful. But there's still more room to grow. And when you grow, that's where happiness comes in. You know, you can't rely on other people or situations to bring you happiness. That's not how happiness works. Self-growth, being able to see situations in your head and to say, I'm going to dare to live it, or I'm going to live up to that standard, is where happiness is found. That self-growth, taking on the things that you desire to do and daring to do it. You know, learning new things. It's amazing way to actually become happy or happier. You know, then there's also the concept of helping the world around you. Helping the world around you, making it a better place, genuinely makes you happier. That's right. It brings in happiness. So it's not the latest gadget. It's not the losing of the weight. It's not making more money at your job. Nope, it's not even getting into a new relationship. Doesn't increase your happiness for a lifetime. It just doesn't. It's you actually taking care of the lives of those who are around you. And the last part of happiness, outside of exercising, because exercising does give you a nice bump to your happiness. So if you're depressed and you want to know how to get happier and you got access to working out, go work out. But the last part I wanted to bring up is close relationships. That is it. Being able to share the bits of your life, need it be embarrassing, need it be traumatic, need it be stuff that, like, to help people rejoice with you. Like, if people don't know your business and something good happens, how would you celebrate that thing? How would you celebrate if people don't know your business? And more importantly, imagine if you had a struggle. You're not alone in your struggle. See, people hinder themselves or stop themselves from telling their business because they think that they're going to be judged. And if they are, so what? What can a human being do to deny you that which is meant for you, especially if you believe in God? So someone knows your business, someone told all your business to everyone around. What can they do, or those who heard your business actually do, to deny you what's meant for you? What? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So dare to tell your business. Dare to deal with the embarrassment. Deal with the embarrassment. That's right. Who cares? Because they can't deny you. You shouldn't deny yourself the opportunity to break free from all the things that you're going through. Freedom is found in you telling your story, you telling your business. And I don't mean just the good stuff, not even just the bad stuff. You got to tell the ugly stuff, the stuff that you're ashamed of. Because in the telling of your story, not only are you helping people around you to avoid that situation or to help them work through that situation, you are also freeing yourself, freeing your mind from the bondage of, if people knew this, they would think this or that about me. Who cares? Who cares? They cannot deny you the greatness that lives inside you. Ask for forgiveness if you know that it was a mess up, if it was a sin, if it was a mistake. But free yourself and learn from these things. Because when you learn from these things, boy, oh boy, you're set free. You are set free. You know, and if you want to figure out how to practically live that freedom, is talking to a close friend, letting them know, here's my truth. Here's my truth. And you'll understand that, because, I deal with a lot of clients. I tell my clients all the time that in the telling of your story, there's freedom. Being able to put your thoughts into sentences and in a way that you believe that the other person is going to understand you is healing. Is healing. And in the dare of seeking healing, the person that you speak to will be able to share something. You are surrounded by people, believe it or not, you are surrounded by people who are designed to help you claim victory. Yes, you will have those haters out there, and you'll know how to avoid or to trust at one time and see that if you're not going to trust them anymore. But understand that you don't need to hold on to that anger if they do betray your trust, because they can't deny you. They can't deny you, and they revealed who they really are. And if maybe in time, if they are doing such things, maybe you'll lend yourself to help them through their situations because they're doing negativity for a reason. And maybe you could be able to help them through that. Woo, that's real growth. That's real growth. To help the person that hurt you, or at least endeavor to hurt you or to shame you. That's right. So here's your chance. Of course, like I said, that this is the election weekend. I say, and I was thinking about this yesterday, excuse me, that, looking at the election, I say this is proof that you could be really, really open with the things that you're going through. And there's going to be a lot of people out there who still won't get it. Because if you paint the picture of all the things that people of color have gone through, and, for all these years, hundreds and hundreds of years, but especially in these times, it will blow your mind to think that people won't still value your pain, your suffering. They won't value it. You live it, so it's important to you. But, remember, it's like people of color, if you need to be someone, if you're black, you only make up 13.4% of the United States. If you're Latino or Spanish speaking, you make up 17% of the United States. There are so many parts of the world, of the United States, sorry, not the world, of the United States, but the world too, but the United States, where there are not a lot of people of color. They don't. So, like I was going to share a writing to you about proximity breeds empathy. Proximity breeds empathy. So if you're close to people of color, and you'll see it if you look at the color of the blue and red states in the United States, if there's a lot of black people or Latin people in it, you'll find that those pockets will be blue, because their focus is on not only the well-being of yourself, but people that are like you. But all the other states that are typically red are often people who just see their situation, and they're preferring like not that they're evil. Not saying that Republican, Democrats. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying is that if I don't have to consider you, what's going to make me think about you? I'm going to think about what's important to me. Like say if you're Republican, you're conservative, you're concerned about abortions and saying that that's death, and I'm going to still stick to Republicans, but Republicans want to make sure that abortion is illegal, and that's where you're going to shoot towards. You're going to completely ignore that racism is occurring. You're going to ignore it because you're thinking about what's important to you. I've heard it said this way, that oftentimes those who are voting conservative is concerned about what they feel, and those who vote liberal are more concerned with what other people feel. Not saying it's right or wrong, but these are the things that I hear, But But that's neither here or there, because what is the truth when it comes to you specifically? The truth is what? No one can deny you that which is meant for you. And if you put in the work, if you put in the consistency to see great and amazing things come to pass in your life, even with the hindrances, even with the standards, you will still achieve, not only for you, but for those who are around you. So push hard. Push hard at driving your mind and your heart and your passion towards getting things done for yourself and for those who are around you. You know, if you live a life of service, continue to volunteer. Continue to, because you know these times of voting makes you angry. You know, whoever wins, you're gonna be mad at the other side because, you know, and what are you gonna do? Stop speaking the word of God to people? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You know, because it's speaking the word of God to people that not only frees other people up, but also frees yourself up. So you're going to stop serving, you're going to stop loving, you're going to stop doing for a particular group of people? Heck no. No, no. Because in your doing, there is freedom, there is power, there is love. Love is the only thing that changes everything. Love is the only thing that changes everything. People say time heals all things. No, I don't agree with that. Love. Love is the thing that heals. Love. But it's loving according to the way that the Word of God talks about love. It's not only just simply the cultural stuff, but being able to forgive and to be kind and to be patient and be long-suffering. You know, these concepts that you could read about in 1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 to 8. 4 to 8, 1 Corinthians 13, 4 to 8, where you can read about and see is how you can imagine being able to hold no negative against someone, because it tells you to let those things go. Don't hold on and count those negative things that someone has done to you. So let that go. You know, don't be filled with pride and boastfulness, because these things hinder you from actually living your love. Especially when you're operating from a place of power, you're not going to really argue with people, because don't you understand that arguing is you trying to get your power back from the person that you think offended you. That's what arguing is. Trying to say, you can say, well, I'm just trying to let them know, and I'm trying to let them know in a passionate way so they don't do it again. But part of it is also you what? Trying to get back your power in that given situation. But that's enough from me. It is time. Donna, can you send me another request? Can you send me another request? Or should I send it out to you? Let me see. Because it's time to bring in Donna Hendricks from Extra Is My Ordinary, the influencer, the blogger. Let me see. Oh, she's right there. Let me send this to her right now. Let's see. It's not going through. Let's see what's happening. All right, Donna, send me another request because it's not happening on my side. So send me another request, and then I could bring you right in. Oh yeah, I see you guys. I appreciate you guys showing up. This is amazing. You know, we're already dropping some good word. You know, we're already dropping some good word. So now it's time to get the people in here so you could hear from Donna. It's not chiming in on my side. There you go. And let her chime in. Oh, so remember, guys, that this show is interactive. I want to see one or two of you guys pop online and say hi to me, say what's up to me, and of course, speak to Donna and myself about things that you are dealing with in your life, or you might have questions, or you might have a perspective that you want to share. So you're going to be on screen with me, but here she is. Yes, yes, yes. Donna Hendricks. Extra is my ordinary.
Extra is my ordinary.
That's right. Let them know she is also my cousin. That's right.
Yes.
That is right. Well, Donna, at this time, I am completely handing it over to you. I'll feed off of the things that you share. Fill these people up. She is an influence, so get ready to be positively influenced.
Oh, that's so sweet. So first, Rick, I want to tell you thank you so much for inviting me on your show. It's incredible. You're doing awesome work,
Thank you.
and I appreciate the offer, and I wish you a lot of success. So I want to get that out right off the bat. I wish you tons of success because, as you know, this is something that I'm also very passionate about, relationships as well. So it's always like a breath of fresh air and kind of eerie when I hear you talk because a lot of things that you say, I feel that in my heart, and there are a lot
Mm,
of things that I have said over the years as well. So it's kind of refreshing when I hear you speak about relationships and your perspective.
thank
So
you.
thanks
Thank
for,
you.
so I'm so happy that you are sharing all of this, and continuing to go down this path as well.
Thank you.
So I was intently listening to, and first, everybody, whoever's on, thank you so much for joining us and, being a part of both of our communities. So I was listening while you were talking, and you said a word, so you said a lot, and you said things like. I wrote down some notes. Habit pattern. I love that. I want to hear more about that from you. In time. Um, you talked about and you shared with your audience that one of the things that I try to offer to my community is living unapologetically and being unapologetically you. And I love the way that you started to touch upon how that impacts relationships. And I'm going to just expand on that a little bit because sometimes, when people hear the term extraordinary living unapologetically, of course, they have um, their own
Definitely.
connection,
Hmm.
definition of it, their own connection with that. And that's great. But what I want to say is that it is a purposeful way of life. And the reason why I embraced it so much was because in order to truly have strong relationships, you have to be okay. Not just okay, but you have to love who you are. And you have to be unapologetic about it. Because as you said, connections from God, they're divine connections. And that person cannot become fully who they are without you, and you cannot become fully who you are without that person also being actualized. So it's really important that people tap into who they are so that I mean it's an explosion. When you see a couple, right? We'll talk about maybe, fiance, boyfriend, girlfriend, marriages, girlfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, boyfriend, but just these significant relationships that you want to be, they're committed relationships. When you feel that you're around a couple that is healthy, it feels different. It's easy, it's smooth. Sometimes it's funny, but it just feels good. And that's because those two people have learned how to be who they are with themselves and with their partner. And sometimes we take that for granted. And, I'm a very bold, outspoken, empowered individual, right?
Absolutely.
But some people aren't that way, and that's not who they truly are. It doesn't mean that they can't live unapologetically because whoever you are is whoever you are. But if you have to get to a place where you get to be at peace with who you are so that your relationships can begin to flow. Because if you don't, you become fake bold and apologetic in with this person, and then you tap into who you really are when you're with this person, and at the end of the day you have no idea who you are, and you really don't have any relationships, you don't have any strong relationships until you get to know who you are as a person. You become at peace with that, you heal that because all of us have broken pieces. Okay, so we heal that, we become at peace with that, then we can start to build upon having those strong cemented relationships with others.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. That brings to mind a client that I spoke to on Monday for the first time. And he was of the mindset of really passionately going after love. He just got
Mm-hmm.
out of a 5-year relationship, And then he just jumped into another 5-year relationship, and they both ended in him feeling and desiring that, like, I want love so bad. Why is it not happening for me? Why is it not happening for me? And the core of the situation was this. He says with his mouth he desires love, but his actions and the way he shows up to the world around him, as well as in his relationships, proves that he doesn't trust love, proves that he doesn't really believe in love, which now hinders him from actually ever accomplishing that goal. He had to discover in a 1.5 hour session with me, he discovered some truths about himself that rocked his world. Like a grown man sitting online with his coach and just in tears because of realizations that because of what happened to him as a child, feeling that he was hindering his mother from moving forward in a relationship because his dad passed away. And then she had to move, of course, living life. You find a new person, he found that she was more happier when her husband was around. She was more happier when the two of them was together, and he's there as a kid, wondering like, hey, I should be your happiness. I'm here. I should be good enough to make you happy, but that wasn't the case the way he grew up feeling. And because he operated feeling a bit abandoned, feeling that his presence wasn't enough, he now got into relationships operating from that belief. It's not a true belief, but he's operating from that belief. So he says he loves love, but the way he acts in relationships, as he called it, he will fire bullets from his mouth when disappointed, when angry, when hurt. So I told him he's trying to get his power back by doing that. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so that is a very, very interesting. And the two things that came to mind as you were talking is that for anyone listening and whoever listens back to that, if you haven't asked yourself questions or gone to see a coach, a therapist, or someone else where they have brought you to like your knees or in tears, like, oh my God, like I really think this way, or I'm like this, you should be having breakthroughs with who you are. That's the only way to bust through who you are. So it's a really good thing when no matter what age you are, you're face to face with either yourself or with someone else, and you have that realization where you can actually see yourself for who you truly are. And I'm in this season, Rick, where I've started to, and I guess this goes along with the living unapologetically, but honoring who I am and how I am. Not to say that when I find out some things about myself, I seek to change if I don't like it, right? So I'm not perfect. I'm constantly changing and bettering who I am. So we should all be doing that. But we have to honor who we are and how we are at that moment. So for instance, like you said, he was firing bullets. I'm a bullet firer too. I know how to do that, right? And I remember when I didn't have the awareness to stop myself from doing that. So now I just fire less bullets, right? Or the bullets are, or I don't go for the target when I fire them if I'm upset or something. Because we're never going to get to a place where we're perfect. But we can always get to a place where we have awareness. And our awareness level can increase and increase and increase, which then can drive the way that we behave and our actions. And that is how we get to show up when we're aware. We know who we are. So when I say you know who you are, it doesn't just mean, oh, I know I'm Donna and I'm fabulous and I'm amazing. No, I know my weaknesses. I know my strengths. And not only that, I'm at peace with them. And because I'm at peace with them, I can show up fully with my husband, right? And I know that that's not a strength, that's a weakness. And I don't have to pretend and act and try to be someone that I'm not. Because in a lot of relationships, for whatever reason, it's a phase. A lot of people are acting. A lot of people are acting in a lot of relationships, and sometimes they don't know that they're acting, or maybe at the end of the day when they lay their head down on their pillow, they realize that they're acting. But really, I always encourage people, who are you? Who are you? And I have this question here: how do I act with this person? With whoever you are with, how do you act when you're with them? I try to refrain from how do I feel when I'm with this person,
Okay.
because sometimes our feelings defy us. It doesn't mean that that question cannot, some people can't ask that question to themselves, right? You just need to get to a place where you're fully in tune with your feelings. But sometimes our feelings can defy us, because you could feel great with a toxic person.
Oh,
You really
absolutely.
can.
Because you're
You could
used to
feel
it.
great, honey.
That's
Yes.
right.
So it's like more so, how do I act with this person? When I'm with this person, do I only choose to do, things of the flesh? When I'm with this person, do I only, do I sneak? Do I hide? Do I lie? And I
Mm,
think that the more questions that we ask ourselves about the people that we're surrounded with, and you can do this with friends, significant others, parents, siblings, children, because it only just leads to you finding out who you are, you learning more about yourself. And the more you do, you can tell within 5 minutes. When you know yourself, within like less than 5 minutes, I can tell when somebody's for me and when they're not, right?
mm.
So is this a healthy situation? Is this not? And I remember when I could not. So I also remember when I couldn't. So I know that it's possible to take that journey and to have that mindset and to have it drive how you interact and show up in your relationships. So I think that guy, your client is doing amazing work, and I think that that's such an incredible breakthrough that he had with you. That's powerful, because it's hard to be faced with who you are sometimes, especially the parts about you that you want to change, right? Obviously, you want to change them because they're not good, or they need to be improved. And that's hard work, but we have to do that hard work in order to have strong relationships.
Absolutely. Beyond just simply saying absolutely, it's realizing that your pet peeves, your your insecurities, your fears are pretty much always going to be a part of your journey, but it's what you choose to do and say
Yes.
despite those feelings, despite
Hmm.
those feelings that allow you to see greatness. So
And
often, go ahead.
sorry, I was gonna just offer right there that they change your insecurities. The insecurities that you had right when you were 13 probably may or may not be the same insecurities that you have at 30. So your insecurities can change. You can develop new insecurities. I think, the older people get, they develop different types of insecurities, especially, I know I've been married since I was 28. So I can't imagine if I had to go out now and be in a relationship. I think some insecurities that I probably didn't even know I had would come up because it's a new situation. So I think that it's okay to, again, honoring your truths, knowing and being at peace with who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. And understanding that even in the midst of an argument or disagreement, it's your opportunity to hear something new about yourself. Because someone's going to share something with you that offended them or turned them off or gave them reasons to do whatever negative thing they said or did. And it's your opportunity, especially if you respond with kindness despite the negative that came your way, to respond in kindness and leave them the floor to now explain themselves. Leave them the wide open door to say, well, if this is the case, what made you do it? What did I do, or what was the situation you went through that caused you to believe this thing? Tell me about it. Instead of giving them more stuff to hold on to against you and now
Yeah,
mad at you because of
yeah,
how you responded to it. And now they're just building on top of that and never got to deal with the situation at hand. So often You have to realize so often we find ourselves in situations where we're not daring to be our true selves,
Yeah,
and not
absolutely.
and not
Yeah.
real enough with ourselves to say that I really like this person, but I can tell this person is not right for me. And instead of just carrying on with the situation, you put an end to it. You're brave enough to put an end to it, saying that, hey, God, I recognize and I'm trusting you to bring or to set me up in an environment where the right person is available to me. Also, is getting to the place where you're comfortable in your own skin, no matter if you're in front of someone you love or just your friends.
Amen.
And that's not easy, because
It's not.
who we
It's
are with our
not.
friends is
Yeah.
sometimes buck wild different than when we're
Yeah.
with our partner. Like, why should
Yeah.
it be a difference? I understand that an intimate relationship is definitely different than just a friendship relationship, but is your characteristics going to change
That's exactly.
that
Your character
dramatically?
shouldn't change. Your character should not change. Yeah.
Right, right. And
Right. Yeah.
that's it. These habits that we develop from a young kid is hard to kick. It's hard to kick. So it's a powerful statement for you to hear a new perspective and dare to live it.
Agreed. And something I want to go back to something that you said,
Hmm.
because sometimes, and again, this topic on relationships is really, really multifaceted and deep. And the same things that I would say to people in a healthy relationship versus people who are, working towards that would be a little bit different. So I want to offer that it is important to make sure that you learn to know yourself, because when you get into a relationship with someone, they're always going to be arguing with you, not arguing, but bringing something to your attention. It's two people, like, you're never going to be the perfect person for them. They're never going to be the perfect person for you. I've been married for, I think, 12 years. I think it's 12 years.
You're in trouble now.
And my husband is not perfect. Like, some days I want to strangle him, some days he wants to strangle me. I'd like to think I have a very strong, solid, healthy relationship. But it's sometimes I have to push back and say, you're telling me that, yes, but what is it about you that you feel that way? So it's important that we don't take on all the time what someone else has to say about us,
Oh, absolutely.
even when that person is the love of your life, your best friend, the spouse,
Absolutely.
because it could be just how they're feeling that day. And then
Or
they're bringing that stuff to you, and it's like, okay, now you're public enemy number one, but it's temporary because, like, Rick, you're a man, but when I'm PMSing, things may not be real that I'm saying to my husband. They're just based on
wow.
feelings,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
and that's real because a lot of women experience that, right? And men have their moods as well. But because I know who I am, right? Those things I don't waver when he says something to me that's just based off of like a bad mood. Like 2 hours later, he might say, I was in a bad mood. You definitely didn't, blah, blah, blah. But if I had agonized over it for 2 hours, that's not okay, right?
Absolutely right.
But because I know who I am, I can say, you know what? This is not about me. This is not about me. But then sometimes, because I know myself, on the other hand, when he
That's
brings
it.
things to my attention, I can say,
Oh,
I
yeah.
really got to check this because I know my husband loves me. I know he's not going to say this to blah, blah, blah. So I need to check that. And when you're in tune with yourself, it's a feeling that you have when there's like, you feel it in your stomach, like, dang, like he pointed that out, like I'm harsh, or something that he or
Right.
she might point out to you. And it's something that you can explore. Again, it's not about fixing yourself, but it's more about, really, if something comes to your attention, you say, is this the type of person I want to be or not? And then you get to make that choice. And if it's not, then you can work towards, working on it and redeveloping that. And then also you can say, this is the type of person that I am. And you could bring that to your significant other and say, well, this is a fundamental and a truth about who I am. right? So
Right.
I know that in my marriage, I'm a free spirit. And that's something that if we had to come to terms with, like, I am a creative, I am a free spirit. That's never going to change, and so, luckily my husband loves me for who I am. But what
There
if
you
he
go.
didn't? What if that was an area where, he could not handle that or didn't like that in a partner? And that would be something that we need to talk about. And sometimes you get to know that about yourself after. Like,
Marriage.
I didn't, the person that I am today, I'm still fundamentally me, but I'm a different me,
Of
right?
course.
I think in a better way, but it's still, there's some aspects that, like, he had no idea that I would want to pursue, like, down that road of entrepreneurship and all this other stuff. And, he didn't know that then. Like, he could have said, I didn't sign up for this, right? Because sometimes that happens. So those are things you explore. But again, it's all about you being confident in who you are. And if he wasn't confident in who he was, how I was would bother him more.
Of course.
And yeah, and people, most times things about other people bother you so much because you don't know who you are, or you're not at peace with who you are.
Right. When you hold on to all those little things that triggered you, but yet you never dared to speak about it with your partner, then all of a sudden this one thing fully brings up everything. It's like you
Hmm.
vomit on everything. You're bringing up everything. And the person's like, whoa, 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 where's all this coming from? It's because you didn't dare to share. You
Right,
didn't
right.
dare to say, well,
Hmm.
this bothered me because it could be the fear of, I don't want to lose you by always nagging you about stuff. You know,
And that's a red flag. If you are feeling like you cannot say stuff because you think you're going to lose the person, that's a red flag. Because I know for me, you literally have to adapt the mindset that I want to know what it is that's going to make me lose you. I want to know. So I'm going to tap into those things. I'm very, like, bold. I tell you, I'm bold and brave and blah, blah, blah.
you're
So
about
it's
to
like, I
flip your
say,
hair.
yeah, right? I say no a lot. I say, even to this day in my marriage, I still say no a lot, right? Because it's not about, to me, it's about how people act after you say no. It's about how people act after you do the thing that you were so afraid to do in front of them or with them. And I always tell people, like, when you're starting a relationship, you need to start it like you're going to buy a car, right? You're going to go buy a car. Everybody would tell you, you walk into the dealership knowing that you can leave at any time, right? You walk in, you walk in with the intent that you are empowered enough to leave without the vehicle because they didn't treat you right, the deal wasn't good, blah, blah, blah. Same thing with a relationship. Marriages are different. Marriage is a commitment, it is a spiritual commitment, legal, all of that. So there, but before you get to that, you should have
Yep.
already tested, right? My husband and I can have a major argument. I'm never afraid that it's gonna be the last argument that we ever had. Like, it's not even that doesn't even come to my mind
Right.
because of the relationship that we have, and because
Right.
it's been tested and tried and true, and because
During
I
the
speak
dating
my
phase.
exactly,
Because I
exactly.
tell people over and over again that dating is all about gathering what? Data. Dating is
That's
all
right.
about gathering data. Gathering data.
Chip, chip, chip. I love
That's right.
data.
That's it. Oh, I'm an info nut myself. But gathering the data and saying, okay, yes, this has been 6 months. Yes, it's been 8 months. I've gathered enough information to know that I could be more than friends with you. But
Yes,
but
yes.
people don't see it that way. So often you get into a relationship and it's full tilt boogie from the moment you say go. And what happened to all the gathering the data? You're so committed to maybe the intimate side of things that you're not having long conversations anymore.
Or the ideal is, you the ideals, right, that
Oh,
surround it, the romanticized
yeah,
version of it. And someone
definitely.
is saying, my girlfriend, one of my very good friends here, Tashika, is saying friends too. And that's really, really true as well. That everything that we said, again, relationships are relationships are relationships. Some
Right.
things really across the board you have to do if you want to have relationships that you sustain. So even if it's a friendship, and for me, it's kind of no different because my husband is one of my best friends. So whether I'm operating like as I more so I think on a daily basis operate as his best friend than his wife, you know. Like we're
Right.
friends. We got a team and a friendship, and that's
Yep.
more so the space that we come from. So I just like one of my girlfriends, like I don't want to lose their friendship. I don't want to lose his friendship either, right?
Yep. I tell people to practice your love with your friends. Practice loving people, loving
That's right.
someone, being there
Hmm.
for someone, seeing them get angry with you and not just cutting them off and walking
That's
away,
right. That's
working
right.
through it, stopping and talking and saying, hey, look, what's going on? I know I did something. Give me a chance to talk about it. You know, this is practice. Practice it now on your friends. So when you get into that more committed relationship, you're skilled. You're skilled. Don't keep that mindset that you're always right.
Yeah.
An always right mindset robs you of a freedom that you'll never, ever, ever
Yeah.
see if you keep that mindset. We only
That's right.
know what we know, and what we know isn't everything there is to know. If you think that your way of seeing things and doing things and speaking is correct always, you're
Mm.
robbing yourself.
It's
You're
that's
robbing
a
yourself.
dangerous mindset.
Yeah,
We
but
have a
so many
president.
people
We have
do
a
that.
president like that. So we have a president like that. So that could be your exhibit A for that argument because you know it's very dangerous. And one of the reggae artists, I feel like it's Bob Marley, but I don't want to misquote. The first step to learning is humbleness, and you can't learn nothing if you always think you're right. Now, again, everything comes with like a caveat and a deeper discussion because when you know yourself, you also have to stand firm in the things that you know that you know that you know that are true about you. But
Right.
you can't put that on other people. I know that when I act like this, it means this to me, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it means that to that other person, right?
Correct.
And sometimes we confuse that because it's so clear in our mind. It's so
Very
clear
clear.
to us. Like it's hard, you know, trust me, when I pop off, it means this. When I hug you and love you, it means this, you know, and it's so clear. But to other people, it may not be.
Correct.
And some people, and so that's why you have to have that communication because some people can be very friendly and nice but they don't have that feeling attached to it. They're just nice and friendly and whatever and going with the flow and acting how they think they need to act. But you know that when you act friendly and when you're nice, it's coming from a genuine place.
Right. Yeah,
So
I
therefore,
get that one a lot because people will actually, even clients have asked me like, are you coming on to me or are you just friendly like this all the time?
got it. Yeah.
Like when you're
And that's
engaging with
good that they
people.
ask.
Oh
But
yeah,
that's
yeah,
good that
yeah.
they ask because sometimes people don't ask and they go on with the story that they formulated in their mind
That's
of
right.
what they think truth is, and that's where the problems start to arrive. So relationships are work. I think that sometimes people underestimate how much work you need to put into a relationship because unfortunately our society has told us that love is enough, right? You just, as long as you
Yes.
love the person, you know,
No.
love is on the lower end, one of the lower ends of what needs to happen to sustain a relationship. Because if you think about it, you might work with coworkers every day. You might work, your boss, you drop your child off to the daycare and you see those people and the teacher might be her teacher for your child's teacher for 2 or 3 years. You have a bit of a relationship with those people and there's no love, right? But there's respect, there's communication, there's trust, there's all these other things besides love. Love is the icing on the cake. That's the stuff that tastes good that you lick the batter, but you don't need icing to have a cake. You really don't. Not that you don't need love, but I'm saying the cake needs to be able to sustain itself before the icing can go on.
Right. Well, if like I share over and over again that you are love. You are love. It is you
I
get
like that,
love.
yeah.
You get love by displaying
You attract
opportunity.
it.
Well, not it's you. You're already love. So you're not out there looking for love. You're actually looking for opportunities to reveal the love that's already inside you.
That's right.
You're
That's right.
looking for the opportunities to nurture someone into unknown futures, like unknown greatness, unknown wealth, unknown abundance. See, when I meet you, as I say, you're my friend, us connecting is me lending bits and pieces of my life to you so you can see life in a greater way. Just like you're gonna leave marks on me, allowing
Yeah.
me to see life in a greater way.
Yeah.
Yes, you can say, I'm giving you an opportunity to see my love. You're gonna have an opportunity to share your love, and then the love that we both share as a friendship or an intimate relationship, it will go from there. It will go from there. We're not looking for love. We're not looking for love. We are already
Already
love.
love. I
We're
like that. I
already
really,
love.
yeah. I love that perspective. I love how you break that down. Something that came into my head is that when you said that we are already love and we are here to nurture the other person and do this, I totally agree with that. And I think that I love that. For some reason, I feel like a lot of that I see lost on a lot of people. They're like, I want this, and you should have this, and you should have that. Let me tell you, I did have a list actually when I was dating. It was foolish. But
Yeah.
to be quite honest, when I met my husband, like no one could have met that list because it was unrealistic.
Oh,
But
I
the
have that talk with
things,
people all the time. Go ahead.
yeah, but the things that I thought I needed for a person to be, it doesn't need to be. And some of the things that I, desired or wanted my husband to be stronger in, he got that way because we became a pair and learned and nurtured from each
You,
other.
you
And a
lived
lot
you
of
lived
people,
your truth, which
yes, yes,
liberated him to
yeah.
live a greater truth.
But a lot of people don't, I hear, friends dating or just, memes on social media. Like, if you don't have this, you might as well. And it's like, when I met my husband, he like literally was walking. He didn't have any furniture in his apartment. You know what I mean? Like a two-door car. It's like, excuse me. Now, don't get me wrong. I wasn't 40 when I was dating. So I think there's certain things, but if you truly accept the mindset that you become one, right? If you're going to become one with something, it has to fit like a glove. So it has to be empty spaces up in there somewhere. Because if
Oh,
the
you better.
spaces aren't open, you guys can't fill them together, right? And we want that person to come whole. Because when you get a whole person, you got a closed person. Okay? So do we really want that? Do we really want that?
Well, yeah, you like when I tell people about dating, you want someone that is continuing to learn, and they inspire you to do and to be your greatest version of yourself. Not a
Yeah.
version that you're trying to paint so you can win them over. No, you have to be your real self, because it's in being your real self is where you're going to see the greater side of life, the
Hmm.
greater reproof, saying, hey, that's not a good way of being, because you want to be yourself so you can be corrected at times.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't want to be corrected,
But that's the
but
truth of
feedback is,
living.
I know for me, I don't listen to people. Like, again, like I don't want it to be misconstrued that you should be listening to people, but you have to understand that people are experiencing you. So what they have to tell you about yourself is valuable. Now, with that, that's why it's so important, and you said this earlier, Rick, to surround yourself with the right type of people, the people who are for you, because that all that noise, right? It's hard to filter out all the things that people are going to be telling you about yourself. But so you need the right people. So when I have my husband telling me something, I know it's coming from a place of love, and this is what he's experienced, how he's experienced me in that moment. So it's something that I could definitely stop and listen to and think about. I may or
Right.
may not change it, blah, blah, blah. But it's important to position yourself for that kind of feedback, for for, you know, people to tell you those things under those circumstances versus just listening to everybody, because everyone
True.
is experiencing you, right?
Yes,
But
yes.
everyone is not always coming from a healed, healthy place.
Correct. And
So
that's the catch. You're when you're in a relationship, I'm gonna be bringing in some of my past. You're gonna be bringing in some of your past into the story, and I have to be authentically myself to give you the opportunity to see if I am right for you, to see if I can add to your already full living life. Not that I am going to complete you. Oh, no, no, no. No, you're not. I'm not completing you. That's
yeah,
way
yeah.
too much pressure for anyone to take on. That's a task that is not able. A human being cannot do that. A human being cannot satisfy that need. But I see we're running out of time, and I want you to
I
be
know.
able. I know you want. I want you to tell people where to find you, social media stuff, and then of course they can continue the conversation with you privately. Because yes, you are an influencer. So go ahead,
Yes.
share.
All
Where can
right.
they
So that
find
was a
you?
great conversation. You guys can find me. I try to make it easy. Extra is my ordinary on Instagram. Extra is my ordinary on Facebook. www.extraismyordinary.com. I have a blog. Also at Stylish Donna One. This is the, you know, page where I'm going live from. So please, I welcome you and invite you to join my community. We have these conversations. Earlier, you said I used to do lunchtime lives. That's going to be coming, you know, kicking back up. I like to do it kind of like a series, you know, stop. It's hard to keep up with these lives, Rick.
Yes, very true. But it's
Yeah.
necessary to grow your business.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So definitely, and I enjoy them nonetheless. And there's so many extraordinary individuals who have so much to add to lots of topics that we explore over on Extras My Ordinary at Stylish Donna One. So thank you, everybody. I saw, you know, a lot of the comments were coming in, and they were
Yes.
really awesome. So I look forward to reading them back afterwards.
Yeah,
So
guys, give
thank
them some
you.
hearts. Give us some hearts. If you love her, you love her. Give us some
Yeah.
hearts. Let her know
And
you
tell your
appreciate her
friends.
truth.
Tell your friends.
That is it. You know that it's amazing. It's amazing to hear other people's perspectives, because it allows me to grow. You
Yes.
can't
Yes.
always be the giver. You want to be able to set up situations so you can also receive. And that's probably one of the problems givers have. They give all the time, but they don't
Mm-hmm.
set up situations for them to receive. Well, I know this about myself. So this is where I started
Nice.
this GunterMan show, because I wanted to give myself opportunities to hear from other people, to step on stage, step on the screen by just sending in a request and letting me know your thoughts, your passions, the things that you believe in regarding love, relationships, marriage, how to move forward after a hard breakup, or how to move forward to even greater standards, leveling up.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
these things we all need to do, and we need to interact with people to get to that place. There are
That's right.
no self-made millionaires. We
Mm.
always need someone to allow
That's
us to
right.
level up,
That's
to
right.
help
That's
us to
right.
get to this next level. Well, you definitely did that tonight. I could tell you that. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Donna.
Thank
That's
you.
right. Extra is ordinary. Oh, we are here. We're here. I am GunterMan from Soapbox Stand Up and Speak. Yes, follow me. Well, you already found me,
Yes.
so you already know how to follow me. But make sure you follow my cousin, Donna Hendricks. Yo, thank you so much,
And
guys.
follow my cousin, GunterMan,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Soapbox
yeah.
Stand
Yeah.
Up
All
and
your
Speak.
followers are here. Yes. Follow me, and we'll keep this conversation going. I'm here for you, just like I know she's there for you also. Be well, guys. Love you. Take care.
Bye. See you,
Bye-bye.
cuz.
I love you, cuz.